All right, we got a couple of force play slide rule videos for us to see. One that's very obvious and one that's not so obvious. I'm not going to go over the rule that goes along with this because I've already done 2 other videos that break force play slide rule down in detail, and I just don't want to keep talking about that. So instead, let's watch 2 plays. Again, sorry for the video quality, but this one's going to be so obvious that you won't need 1080 to see it. Ground ball to third. Oh, let's watch the wipeout at second one more time. And our plate umpire is all over it. This is an easy call. No one says anything. It's an easy call. Get that second out. Let's watch it one more time. Now let's go to another one. This one is a lot less obvious, but it still is some good discussion points. Ground ball to second base. Flip to the second baseman. Let's watch it one more time. And great mechanic by our base umpire because the second baseman lost the ball on the transfer. And then that's why the umpire is, showing the he's pulling it out mechanic. Watch it one more time and then I'll scrub through it and kind of explain why the coach was curious. And great job adjusting their eyes for a quick back pick to the runner at third. So here we go. A ground ball to the shortstop, flip over to the second baseman. We're good here. Now, does a runner have to slide on force play slide rule? No, they do not. If they do slide, they must slide legally. So far, we have a legal slide. Okay, but look where the second baseman takes this play at. He takes the ball and then he steps backwards. Do you see that big step with his left foot? He is now completely behind the base. And this is what allows the runner to do the next thing without being penalized. The runner does a pop-up slide. Now, if the second baseman was still standing on the bag, is a pop-up slide legal under the force play slide rule? No, it is not. It is not legal, so this would be a violation. But the runner got really lucky. How did the runner get lucky? The second baseman backed away from the base. So now we have a runner who has been retired, who is now standing up. The second baseman grabs the baseball, picks it back up, and is like, oh, wait, now I need to throw to third base because I have a runner possibly getting off over there. Now, everybody kind of, if you look funny right here, everybody just kind of stops and is like, uh-oh, what just happened? And again, good job, Steven, by whipping that head around to get a look on that play at third base, even after you had a big cluster at second, okay? I'm going to fast forward a little bit because we're running short on our time today. The coach comes out and talks to Steven and is like, hey, I would like for you to check 2 things. Do we really not have any, force play slide rule violation at second base? And then do we have any interference by the runner? Or, what is that play at third? Did you really get a good look at that play at third? And Steven was like, you know what, we do have a lot to talk about, so let's go talk about it. Okay, so we hustle up together. And first thing that Steven says to me is, hey, coach is wanting to have a second thought of possible, interference, force play slide rule at second base. And I tell Steven, I said, hey, if I had a force play slide rule violation, I would have come and got it right away. I would have been upfront with it. So no, I don't have anything. And then he goes, okay, so we got that. Then we start talking about the next play. Do we have any other interference with the runner possibly going to third base because he's just kind of standing there? Well, if a retired runner is doing nothing out of the ordinary other than being a retired runner, you can't penalize him. You can't expect runners to just simply disappear on the diamond. They're not like the old school video games where when you get put out, you just magically disappear. So they're still going to be on the field. As long as he's not doing anything purposeful to interfere, he's going to be fine. And then the last question, he looks at me and smiles and he says, and then he asked me about my judgment at third base, and I'm not even going to talk to you about that. So we're just going to stick with what we got. And we all kind of smile and chuckle about that. And then this is where we just looked at each other and we said, okay, so we have an out at second base and that's it. And we just nod our head and go, yes. And then watch what Steven does as we break this conversation. That is really critical to let the coach understand what's happening. He looks there and he points to second base and he confirms that we have an out there. And he points to third base and confirms that we have a safe call there. So we're not changing any of our calls. Okay. As we go back to the position, the coach looks at me and says, really? You can see him pointing out there. Really? We don't have interference? And I just tell him and says, no, we do not have interference. And he smiles and goes, okay, and goes back to the dugout. This one was potentially a really complicated play, but if you take it one little scenario at a time, it can be broken down into some achievable it could be broken down into some real achievable sections.